Hi, Capricorn. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for December 2019. Your birthday is approaching, and we've already got a gathering of Capricorn planets right here in your natural chart first house. And Julia, I think you've got some stuff to say about that wonderful placement of Venus and Capricorn's personal style.
Ooh, I sure do, Jamie. Well, Capricorn, Venus begins this month in your first house, and that is the house of self in astrology. So, what that means is Venus energy is being manifested through you at the beginning of the month. So, this is a great time for dating because you might be looking extra good. And if you want to do anything to beautify your looks, such as get a haircut or try a new style out, then this is going to be a really beneficial time for it. Then, when Venus enters your second house on December 19th, she's going to be in the house of money, and that's her natural home in the zodiac.
Hmm.
And what that means for you, Capricorn, is it's a great time to go shopping. And if you want to spend any money on, let's say, luxury goods, beauty products, fashion, or art, then you're going to really end up enjoying the results and probably won't have too much shopper's remorse afterwards.
I love
Then,
that.
I know. Then Mars is going to be in Scorpio all month, which corresponds with your natal 11th house. And the 11th house can be the house of long range goals, the plans that you have in life for 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line. And Capricorn, you like to really plan things out. It's also the house of your friends or other types of groups you're a part of. So this month you might be really focused on applying yourself, because that's what Mars likes to do, towards your long-term goals. And, just to be a little cautious, you might, because Mars is kind of a feisty, conflict prone planet, you might also be running into more conflicts with your friendship groups too. That could mean that maybe you are a little extra dominating towards your friends, which is creating issues, or they might be exerting their egos over you too this month. Then Mercury enters Sagittarius on December 9th, which corresponds with your 12th house. And when the planet of thinking, which is really what Mercury does, enters the most hidden house in the zodiac, you might be much more inclined to kind of keeping your thoughts to yourself instead of just blurting them out to the rest of the world, shouting them from the rooftops, putting them all out on social media, just more keeping your cards to yourself. And it's not necessarily the best transit for your most acute, dry, rational thinking, but your creative and intuitive mind might be speaking to you much more loudly during this time too. Then Mercury enters Capricorn on December 28th, and that aligns really nicely with your house of self, because that's your natal first house. And that's a great time for expressing yourself. So all that time you'd spent before when Mercury was in the 12th house and you were just kind of trying to figure out your ideas without letting other people sort of see them so easily, you're going to have a major shift after December 28th, because you're going to want to be a lot more outspoken. And if you do any public speaking, or if you have a big voice on Instagram or YouTube, you're going to be a lot more articulate than usual. So use that time wisely. What else is going on this month, Jamie?
I love how that brings up themes of discovering one's voice. Mercury in the first house can be so great for just discovering your voice and figuring out what you need to say, and that can be so cool. Yeah, I just am in love with this big pile of Capricorn here in the first house for Capricorn this month. And chief among them is Jupiter. Jupiter falling in, moving into Capricorn really very early in December. Here's December 1st, 2nd. There it is in Capricorn. And this chart's a little wonky. Let me just find there it is, Capricorn rising. There's Jupiter. And boom, right there. Moving into Capricorn, that's going to feel really good. Jupiter is a planet that has to do with growth and expansion, adventure and fun. It's loaded with positivity and possibility. And when Jupiter moves into your sign, Capricorn, you're going to find that really enjoyable, and you're going to find yourself, filled up with a sense of limitless possibilities in a way that maybe you're not even used to. So this is really going to be a year of growth and expansion for you, and opportunities coming your way, and luck even. And that's because Jupiter is going to spend pretty much the whole year of 2020 in the sign of Capricorn. And while it's there, no doubt it's going to trigger some stuff for you in the best of all possible ways. So I'm a real fan of that for you, Capricorn. Now, there's another thing to consider, which is that we've got a couple of lunations. Um, in the middle of the month, on the 11th, we have got a full moon here in Gemini, opposite that sun in Sagittarius in your 12th house. And so that moon falls in the 6th house, which is the arena of work. This particular moon is a little bit more stressful than usual because a full moon tends to bring up a lot of emotions. And this is a moon in an air sign, Gemini. And so there's going to be a tendency to overthink things, to worry about things too much, to try to puzzle out feelings instead of just feeling them under this full moon. And that may come down for you in the arena of work, health, and service because of its 6th house placement. And some of the source of that anxiety is the square to Neptune. You'll see that the sun is about 20 degrees of Sagittarius. The moon is full at 20 degrees of Gemini. Neptune here at 15 degrees of Pisces is going to be bringing in this feel or this theme of suspended animation. So you may feel like you're worrying about some problem at work or perhaps in your health, and yet sort of doing it in the absence of any real news. And that could be, anxiety provoking. So I just want to let you know during this moon, which is peaking on December 11th, so basically from the 10th to the 12th, if you find yourself in a tailspin, just worrying and overthinking, just take a chill pill and wait for the information to actually evolve before you start fussing too much about it. Now, later in the month, really right on Christmas, we have got a new moon in Capricorn. And here it is. Here's the sun in Capricorn, the moon a little later in Capricorn, and Jupiter snuggled up right between them. Now, this is not just a new moon. A new moon has a feel to do with initiation, beginnings, birth. It's a time for planting seeds, for things to grow during the month until the next new moon. But this one is special and different because it's an eclipse. And how we know it's an eclipse is that we see the node is here. This is the south node in Capricorn, and it's nestled right in between the sun and the moon. So that's how we know. And an eclipse is a time for seeing your shadow. Now, there are two kinds of eclipses, solar and lunar. Lunar eclipses, which this is not, are usually more emotional, about seeing your emotional shadow. So that's an internal experience. But this is a solar eclipse, which is more of an external experience. So you're likely to see your shadow in ways that other people can see. So this eclipse falling in Capricorn, it could have themes of a kind of a Scrooge-like, miserly, crotchety, a sort of a, I want to say that, Capricorn, the worst faults that come with Capricorn have to do with being so absorbed in career and work, and so in the habit of deferring your own needs for a long-term goal that you become difficult for the people around you to play with and live with and even work with and enjoy. It becomes hard to enjoy you as a person. And so there might be some stuff that comes up around this, and it falling on Christmas means that you might be with your family. Even if you don't celebrate Christmas, you might find that this winter holiday you're with your family, and this stuff comes up about like how you can sometimes be behind a wall and a little bit hard to reach emotionally. And if it does, I have to tell you, Jupiter is your friend, because the presence of Jupiter involved with this eclipse means that you can approach it with an open-hearted, generous attitude that enables you to grow from all of this instead of just suffering about it. So please don't suffer at Christmas time, Capricorn. Please don't. Grow instead, because there are people around you who want to get behind that wall and snuggle your beautiful heart. So if you were thinking of a reading, I would say you could do no better than to schedule your birthday reading this year, because it's always a good idea to have your birthday reading early, before your birthday, so that you can really get a jump on the themes of your upcoming year, especially if you think that you might want to travel for your birthday, because traveling for your birthday can yield a different birthday chart that could be much better than what you would get from staying at home. So, some things to think about. Well, I hope you enjoyed this horoscope made just for you, Capricorn. We certainly enjoyed doing it. And we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.